Hey, welcome to the Badger Beer Report Mix 6. I'm your host, Greg Washington. And my co-host is Chelsea McCoon.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. Is there anything in the glass or in the can?
Yes, it is Youngblood's FFR Simcoe. So Ford fucking Ranger with the Simcoe hop. It's good.
Okay. All right. It's not that Bears Still Suck beer, which was amazing.
I know. I really want to try it. I have to get to some place in the area to try it.
It is. It's exquisite. And you know who else is exquisite is Chris Drosner, the Wisconsin Beer Bear.
Yeah, that's what everybody always says about me, is that I'm exquisite. Yes.
Right.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Chelsea.
Hi.
How are you? Do you have anything in your glass, Mr. Chris Drosner Beer Bear?
I do. I've got myself a little. I'm drinking MKE tonight. I got a Blackbird Black IPA. They brought this one back second year for this little seasonal.
Such a delight.
When I see Black IPA these days, I get it. Like pretty much whatever, wherever, whatever. Yeah.
Chris, and when I see Lakefront, I get it.
There are a lot of places, so you're not going to be drinking much else, at least around here.
Oh, I didn't tell anybody what we're doing tonight.
Oh my
I'm
gosh!
just excited to have y'all around, but we're gonna have we're gonna have our favorite beers of the year. We're gonna have we have Chris here, so we'll have a year in beer news review. We will talk more about Dachsbier, get into the whole thing about it. Joel and I could only touch a little bit because we were running up on time. So also we have holiday beers and winter ales. I know Chelsea is wanting to talk about that. And also Chelsea's wanting to talk about hopes for the new year, which we didn't even discuss this, so we're gonna see what that's all about. Yeah, and then we'll talk about what to expect from Badger Beer Report in 2026, which should be a lot of fun actually. But that being said, I would like to talk about my favorite pours first, and then y'all can opine. There we go. On your favorites. So Chelsea and I already talked about this in the last Mixtic, right, Chelsea, about how this year was the year of the milk tubes for me. And I love my milk tubes. My first one was that vault over there on the right, y'all. It was like some Heller Keller pills thing. It didn't matter. It was excellent. And it was foam, and it was just great. And then so up to the left there, y'all, is my picture of my flight at Brewery Nanak. And Mananami. Is that where? No. Is that it? Yeah. It's up north, y'all. Sorry. Chelsea, you know where it is, right? You're an up norther a little bit, right? Or no?
I mean, that's not as far north. I'm not that far north.
No. But you work for a place that's even far norther.
Yes,
so
I did.
I'm just assuming you know everything about it. So my bad. Brewery Nanak is it was one of my favorite stops. And that was the stop, if y'all remember, that I had I took takeout, and my takeout was busted. And then I called Brewery Nanak, and they were like, come back and get your beer, and we're going to refund you. And it was this wonderful thing. And I met the owner and all that. The beers are just crisp, wonderful, amazing up there at Brewery Nanak. And then the bottom picture there is me buying, or somebody bought a whole bunch of milk tubes for everybody, and we're just going to do them all together. And that's at McFleshman's. So the milk tubes were my favorite pour this year, y'all. And then Brewery Nanak. But there was just so many others. Like I said, that Beers Still Suck beer that I got at K4 the other day was one of the best beers I tasted all year. And I'm not exaggerating. And I don't even like the name of the beer. Just saying. So like,
As
I
a
so
Bears fan, I get it,
I
but
went in.
also like,
I went
Oh,
in with my head like I don't even
oh.
want to like this beer, and it was
Okay, we've got a Browns
fantastic.
fan and a Bears fan on in this thing. What is this? This shit is going sideways
We're not
right
talking
off the bat.
here. We're going to our
It's
other.
Bear Week, Greg. It's Bear Week.
We're going to our regular co-host Chelsea to talk about her pours this year.
Fair, fair.
ooh. So I have always been one with a weird palate. And actually, I think I had one of my favorite beers at Great Taste this year. It was from Eagle Park, and they were doing their soft serve hard seltzers. Um, one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of it was I don't like a lot of bubbles. I like very little bubbles, and it was very smooth. It's very it's ice creamy in texture. I tried their strawberry soft serve one and their root beer. The strawberry one was like bright pink, beautiful. Root beer, it didn't look great in a clear glass, but when I got in cans from the tap room a couple weeks later, it was still just as delicious. So that was for sure one of my favorites. Um, I obviously have to, now that I work for them, I get to try Youngbloods beer all the time. I've always loved their sours. The beer that I'm drinking right now, the FFR, that's a ongoing one that we always change up what hops we dry hop it with. And so this one is with the Simcoe. It's delicious. I'm always a fan for a hazy IPA anytime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all over the board. I'm not.
Youngblood makes the best hazies. Can I say that, Chris?
I mean, you can say that. Yeah, you can say that.
Well, Chris, what can you say about your pours this year?
I was thinking about this, and this is a tough one for me this year. I felt like I kind of became a boring beer consumer this year in that, like, I mean, if you press me, I have a most memorable like beer experience that was based on the beer and what was happening around it. But like, I I I kind of feel like there are that I am the beers that are leaving a mark on me are ones that are just really well done and like not like crazy anymore. Like I feel like in the past several years, like I used to do the beers of the year column every year, and it would always be like, oh, they barrel aged this beer for 5 years instead of 3 years or 18 months, and it's like that was kind of what or a crazy ingredient you'd never heard of, which is kind of is the one that when pressed is what basically what happened. But um like I do remember my favorite pour last year, and it was the beers from the Czech lagers from oh my god, I'm not gonna remember the name of the brewery. The little brewery in Iowa, Fieldwork
Oh, oh.
Field Day Brewing in Iowa. They had like five, Czech lagers, and they were doing milk pours at the Great Taste, and that was cool. But they were so good. It was just such a clean, delicious, beer, and like that is not very descriptive or interesting, but that's kind of where I was at. Okay, so that said, I do have a bonkers beer that I had this year, and it's not a Wisconsin beer, unfortunately, but it was at the Great Taste, and it was Revolutions. No, it wasn't at the Great Taste. It was at an event they had here. It was 15 their 15-year beer, an anniversary beer. It's a blend of Straight Jacket and Rye Way to Heaven. So that's a barley wine and a rye wine, and they blended it, added some sweet and tart cherries, and then the variant that I had was used a very short aging of Amburana wood. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this or experienced it. It is insane. This wood tastes like cinnamon, coconut, like it's got the kind of like oak wood character that you have in barrel aged beers, but it's just so it's intensely complex, and then you layer that on top of a beer that or a blend of beers that's already insanely complex. It was insane. And in this event, I got a chance to talk to Marty Peters, the barrel aged um, program lead for Revolution. And this guy it was just an amazing conversation. Like, I've been doing this for a long time, and I feel like I kind of know a lot about beer and how it's made and all the different levers you can pull. But hearing him talk about barrel aging, and in particular this Amburana wood, was really exciting and invigorating, I guess, as an intense beer geek. But and I know that kind of like is counter to what I said generally. But man, I drank a ton of New Glarus Pilsner this year. Um, Pretty much everything that Dovetail makes is in my fridge a lot. Um, I've been hitting Lakefront a lot with their kind of regular beers, and um, I don't know. I've also been to Central Waters Milwaukee Tap Room a few times this fall and winter, and never there. I'm never disappointed there. So that's not a great answer, not a real concise answer, but I feel like that's kind of where I am in drinking, is like it's not this one thing. It's kind of like all these great things that kind of add up to like a really good experience every time, instead of just that one like, oh my God, you're not going to believe this kind of thing.
Amen. Amen to that. And I could go on and on too, because I had so many great stops at Sway and Zambaldi and Copper State. I mean, it's just overwhelming. Fond du Lac, Hoya Hop House.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so
There's so many good beers. It's hard to choose just
yeah, it really is.
one.
It's a real problem for us beer drinkers.
No, it's not, Greg. It's a blessing. Like
Right.
it took a long time for us to get to this point where, I mean, you guys talked about it on the brewery report. Like, the Final Act didn't have a brewery, and now it's not just got a brewery; it's got a really good one. That's a great thing. And if
I'm muting
there's
Chelsea's loud keyboard. Sorry,
yeah,
go on.
it's a real clacky keyboard. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
I do like it, but it's loud.
but this is where we're at, is um places that didn't have breweries just a few years ago now not only have breweries, but they have really good breweries. And I think that has been a challenge for a lot of other breweries, that I think we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
Yeah, so I was just gonna segue to Chelsea wanted to talk about news and a year in review for the news that happened, and it's great that Chris is here. And I thought, I would say that this is probably, even though it was the first news, as far as like big iconic breweries in Wisconsin, this was our first big news, right, Chris?
Oh God, yeah, that was this year.
Lonnie's production closes, yeah.
Yeah, what a
January
bummer.
17th.
Yeah.
January 17th. Yeah. Thoughts on this, Chris? This is obviously.
I mean, this has been kind of a saga, but I mean, Dick Leinenkugel and the family tried to, buy the property, which I actually had a dream about. You're really in deep on a story when you start having dreams about it. It was a crazy dream. It was like it worked. The plan worked, and they had this brewery, and they were gonna, like, what were they gonna name it? And I had been thinking about like all of this, because it's like it's such to me, it's part of the fabric of Wisconsin beer, particularly in the past. It's like one of the oldest breweries in the state, but um, so you can't, seeing that just sit there is a big bummer. I do wonder if, and I think one of the challenges for Molson Coors selling a property like this, and giving it a chance to reactivate as a brewery, is the size of the brewery itself. it's in a zone of kind of like the in between, where it's not a huge brewery that has the economies of scale that obviously Molson Coors wanted from that property, and it's too big for a craft brewery that, a lot of the breweries are not really facing realistic projections of growth. So the opportunity to grow into a brewery that size, I think it's over 100,000 barrels a year capacity, I believe. And of course, it's really old too. So like if you're, coming into the industry, that's a huge swing to take, or upgrading from a small brewery. Yeah, I mean, we haven't heard anything on this in a long time. Um, I assume that it's just kind of there, which is a huge bummer.
Chelsea, you have any remarks on Liney's?
It's one of those kind of surprise things, and I kind of echo Chris's idea of like, I can't believe that was this year. It feels like it was such a long time ago. I feel like that was like something that happened like 2 years ago or something like that. No, it happened this year. It's definitely, I mean, when a brewery gets bought out by some of the bigger dogs, it's one of those like you're going to come to see that they're not going to see the benefit of using an older brewery system when they have something shiny and new that can make more beer, better beer, bottling it quickly. It's nice they're keeping it open for visitors and stuff like that. But it is a sad time that everything production has stopped at that area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what y'all said, I don't really have much insight on this one either. It was this, it's just sad for the community. I remember, actually, this is a good time to plug if y'all want to hear about in detail. Chris Drosner and Landon were on the Respecting the Beer podcast and talked all about this for 30 minutes, and it was fascinating. And it was fascinating to me, who knew all the details, to hear y'all talk about it. So it's just Liney's is always going to hit hard here in Wisconsin. It's going to hit harder here in Wisconsin. So even the Shandy, it hits hard here, and so when they make any big announcement, whether it's remember when they bought in, and now, or when they quote sold out and all that, it was all big news, Chris, you remember. And so anything
Well,
that happens with Liney's is going to be.
Just to be clear, I do not remember it. I was 10 years old, but I was in the, or something like that. Was that like 87, I think?
Yeah, but
83?
like by the time you came up in craft beer, though, that discourse was still there as far as like, well, they sold out, and it was always kind of a thing that Liney's kind of never shook, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they were part of I mean, they were a big brewery. They were a small offshoot of a big brewery,
Right.
and yeah, they never really, I think there was a lot more like purity tests in craft beer back then. If you were a contract brewer, you weren't a real brewer. If you were owned by Big Beer, you weren't Big Beer, or you weren't craft beer. Which I mean, there's arguments to be made for that, but Liney's actually innovated and became, I would say, more relevant than ever after that. I mean, they became, who would have thought in 1987 or 82 or something that Liney's would have a beer that is traditional and kind of true to their heritage and roots, of German, German style beers that was sold in Florida and Arizona,
Yep.
That's
and well, the point I wanted to make with that, with people were still lamenting that they sold out, is that the emotional connection that Wisconsin has with this brand specifically. So when that news hit, it was really emotional, especially in January, and all kinds of other things were going on. It was just emotional for just our craft beer drinkers. And I'm not you know me. I like Liney's like everybody else. I'm not a huge fan, so and I'm not from Wisconsin, so I wasn't really like but I was still hit like, man, that's not cool. So
Mhm.
yeah, and also I think we all talked about Liney's, right? Chelsea wanted to talk about. I know Chris wants to talk about something else that wasn't cool. That hit us this year, beer wise, was this Wisconsin Act 73 great taste thing. Chelsea, would you like to top us off on this, and then Chris can jump in?
Yeah, so my basic understanding was that breweries from outside the state can come to Great Taste to showcase their beers, which is great. It's called Great Taste of the Midwest, not Great Taste of Wisconsin. But in 2023, I believe, Wisconsin passed a law that went into effect this year that raised the permit fees for those breweries. It was something insane, like over a grand um, to buy a permit to bring beer into the state for something like a 1 day event. It seems a little insane. And a lot of breweries had dropped out from Great Taste. A lot of breweries stepped up to replace those, but there are still some spots that are missing. And it's kind of a bummer because, Wisconsin does have a lot of great breweries, but so does Michigan, so does Minnesota, so does Illinois. And we didn't get a chance to try those this year, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bummed about.
Yeah, I actually crunched the numbers on the breweries after the Great Taste. I counted everything from the program last year or in 2024 when the when it was business as usual and this law hadn't been implemented yet, and or at least this aspect of the law hadn't been implemented yet, and then in 2025, and there was a pretty noticeable decline. You had 169 breweries uh, this year versus 195 in 2024, and 97 Wisconsin breweries versus 81 last year. And I I mean, I don't know. What did you think about the feel at the Great Taste? Like, I mean, certainly there were some that were missing that were a big bummer. I mean, Off Color was not there. That's a brewery that's been there, probably not since the start because of how long Great Taste has been running, but um, pretty much since they started. So I don't know. What did you think of the actual how the event actually felt with
It
that absence?
it seemed it's weird. It seemed like it was smaller. Um, More so in the fact like you were walking around and you saw your normal tents. You saw Central Waters, Three Sheeps, um, Working Draft, all of them. And a couple of tables that were empty, and the organizers put signs like a QR code, like, "Hey, this is why there's nobody here. Read
Yeah,
up on it," which I thought was interesting. That's a good way of bringing um, eyes onto the problem. But it's just one of those like there was just as many people, but not as much beer in my thinking of it. I mean,
mhm.
I remember years past where you're just walking and it's like trying to chug your taster before you get to the next table because you want to try what they have too. And this one's more of like, oh, I'll just drink this because I've been to this brewery like 3 times and I've had most of their beer right now. So it's kind of hard to find something new.
Hmm. I mean, I felt like, I mean, it's still 169 breweries.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and one thing, I mean, I'm not that I'm like looking for a silver lining here, but there were a lot of breweries from Wisconsin that I had not been to. So, that was one element that I thought it's not an overall, I don't think, I mean, it is a positive. I don't think it outweighs the absence there, but they just kind of spinning it forward. They talked about trying to find a regulatory or legislative option to a remedy, for this coming year, and I imagine that full court press is happening right now, is ongoing. So we'll see. It's not like this law like intended to close this. Basically, the whole thing with the Great Taste and these breweries that don't have licenses, or these breweries being able to sell here in the first place,
Yeah.
because the Great Taste is buying the beer, so they are being sold in Wisconsin, even though you're not paying money for that pour. Ultimately, it was kind of a loophole that they were using, and they I think this Ron from Amorphic has some reservations about this law, but I think most breweries saw it as a good middle ground of a lot. There are a lot of issues that were kind of squared away under this law, and not everybody got everything they wanted. And this turned out to be, I think, one of probably the more I mean, it's not super impactful outside of this one event, but this is a huge event for Wisconsin beer culture, and it was a huge bummer to have it kind of just get lost in this, an unintended consequence of this law.
Oh yeah, and I think that happens all the time. Is people like, oh, it's going to pass the law, it'll be great.
Yep.
And like you said, it's just an unintended consequence of no one really saw that this was going to affect this big of a festival. It wasn't just
Right.
It wasn't aimed at this. It was.
Yeah. Right.
So brewing great beer is a thing, and an unintended consequence of that. I don't know if this segue is going to work, but we're going to try
it. You have my attention.
Let's hear it.
Is you win awards because you're good, right, Chelsea? You wanted to speak about this, my friend.
I did. Kind of because I had some skin in the game when this happened. I mean, this is awesome. I love the World Beer Cup. I mean, that was a huge selling point for me this year of selling our oatmeal stout for Earth Rider, was saying that we have the world's best oatmeal stout.
That's a boss beer. I mean, better credentialed people than me have said that, but it's a great beer.
Yes. I mean, it's nice. Like when you're a smaller brewery up north and you get, international recognition for a beer, that's fantastic. And being in Wisconsin and having 3 breweries, win awards at this World Beer Cup, I think it's awesome. Love that New Glarus won for a couple of their beers. I love that Hinterland got something for their alt beer. I mean, they're all good beers. I mean, you can't argue with the professionals, I think, at least. But yeah, like I said, it's a great sales tactic for me. I don't know if the other sales rep for these breweries did the same thing, but it worked half the time.
I was going to say, like,
Chris, any thoughts on these awards, or yeah? What
I was going to ask Chelsea, how, like, can you kind of, I mean, maybe not quantify, but like, did your sales of that beer double after this, or was it?
So it's funny. We hadn't released North Tower Stout until I believe that November or December the year prior in 2024. So it's still a newer beer on the docket for a lot of distributors. When that came out, sales increased pretty well. But I have to say that it was nothing compared to what was it? Beginning of September or late August, when we had that week of like cooler weather. It was like in the 50s. We just blew through kegs and cases of the stout. Like people were ready for fall. They were ready for a heavy beer. They were ready to get cozy, and it was really cool to see that. It's like, all right, cool. So it was still on people's minds, 8-9 months later, of like, yeah, this is a good beer. We should get it.
That's cool. Greg, one other thought I guess I had is that it's pretty cool that New Glarus won gold and silver in the same category for Belgian fruit beers. I mean, if they're going to win, I guess, multiple awards in a single category, that's probably going to be the one. And obviously, Belgian Red, or it's Creek, not Belgian Red. These were both brewery only releases, so you gotta get on your horse and get down to the Riverside Brewery these days.
Yeah, and that's a good segue, isn't it, Greg? It is. Which one is this though? Wait.
Wonder what this
Okay.
one's gonna be.
Yeah, it's a good segue, Chris, into the new Glarus expansion,
Oh,
which
there you go.
was announced this year, and um that's a huge thing for us. I don't know, Chris, if you wanted to jump on this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a huge. I mean, what does it say there? $55 million. I'd be surprised if that doesn't get a little bit higher the way things are going these days. But yeah, they keep showing construction updates from the site, and it's the basically if you've been up to the Hilltop Brewery before, they're basically building into the hill below. So they're going to have a visitor center and an entrance under, where before you get to the top of the hill, basically, as it is now, as it's configured now, or was configured before they started this project. And then, uh, and then I'm not sure exactly how all the layout's going to be, but I know that that visitor's entrance is going to be at the bottom. And there's going to be a distillery in there. Dan's finally getting his distillery, so here come the schnapses and the brandies and whatnot. And then the thing that they really talked about. I mean, I do believe there is production expansion in this, but for the most part, the thing that they were really hammering on is the visitor experience. So I'm expecting better, maybe a more robust, like kind of tour, beyond the self-guided thing that they have now. That could be a possibility. I think the there will be I mean, I'm assuming there's going to be a tap room. I don't know. A lot of these details they haven't really talked about yet, but um,
Oh,
cer-
I have to correct the newsman here. They recently released a podcast of the designer of the whole expansion thing, which is the daughter of Deb and Dan.
yes, Catherine.
And yeah, there's a lot of details in that
Okay,
podcast
okay.
on the Nuclearis podcast. So back to you, Chris, though. But yeah, that was
Well,
really the big drop though. It was like, whoa. And I even emailed you, or I sent it to you, say, yo, you gotta read
you
this. You
did
gotta
send
hear
it to
this.
me.
It's
That's right.
it's some but no worries, y'all. It's something that I will repost it on our social media. Every Wisconsin craft beer person should listen to that because it's just really excellent about the things that they're like, the thought that went into all this.
Hmm.
And
You know,
once you hear that, y'all, you will understand why what they're doing does not equal distribution outside of Wisconsin, which was the first thing that people were jumping at.
yeah,
Like they're not the capacity that they're doing is not enough actually probably to distribute because we drink all of the nuclear spear and they can't keep up with that or they don't, you know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
adding distribution would be insane for them because
yeah.
they would have to add it to a level of epic proportions to
Well,
like satisfy everybody who wants a freaking spotted cow that doesn't live in this state. Anyway,
and we've
Chris,
seen we've seen over and over and over the past 7 years now how risky it is to expand based on your based on
yes.
projections of sales. Like the uh the hot new thing does not always sustain itself. And when you're building bricks and mortar and tons of stainless steel and all of that capacity, you have to pay for that for a long time. And if you're not pay if there's, ask Milwaukee Brewing how their expansion went, based on distribution plans.
Ouch.
it turned it,
I mean, Milwaukee Brewing
yeah.
does not exist anymore as a going concern. That's for the uninitiated there.
It turns out the nice new thing should be to keep it local.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a business strategy, a beer industry strategy that basically nobody, they were basically on an island in for
Mhm.
decades, and now it is proven, like, this organic growth. And sure, I mean, they had a huge hit with Spotted Cow, and that has been a thing that I mean that this is the house that Spotted Cow built, no doubt.
Amen.
But you know, it's not entirely distribution strategy, but I do think that it's a big part of it. And how much are they selling to out-of-state customers without distributing outside the state? I would love to know that. I mean, I know their number one off-premise account is I'm gonna say I said I know, I'm pretty sure that their number one off-premise account is the Kenosha Woodmans, and we all know what's on the other what's 2 miles away from Kenosha Woodmans is Illinois. So
That used to be one of my accounts when I was GB, and I was there 3 years ago when they built the largest New Glarus thing, and it was like two sales guys on top of this giant box they were building of just 24 cases
just
of
setting
Spotted
up
Cow.
the cases into like a
Yeah, it
design,
was
one
like
of those things.
they sent up coffee and donuts because the guys were going to be up there for a while, and that display, it was like halfway done like 2 weeks later in the holiday season. Like that Woodman's goes through New Glarus like crazy.
Yeah.
Part of the production issue, Chris, is that they have to run 24/7 there, and they don't want to. And that's part of what's going to happen with this expansion. So like it's definitely not, once you get into the details of this, you can definitely see it's not about expanding outside of Wisconsin. It's about fortifying and actually making their employee experience a better one. It's, again, y'all need to hear this. It's pretty crazy what's going on down there, and crazy in a good way, not crazy in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean it remains one of the best stories in Wisconsin beer, and you could pretty much put that up in write that down in ink for the past several year in review kind of things, and probably for the next several too.
Well, I don't know if we're going to write it down in ink, but Chelsea would like to talk about Solemn Oath.
Yeah, I'm excited about Solemn Oath. That was one of the brands that I distributed when I was with GB. They just make great beer, and I'm so excited that they're coming to Milwaukee.
Keep hitting that wrong button. I'm sorry.
You can
I
make
apologize to the
You don't have
audience.
to make me.
I firmly, hold on. I apologize to y'all. That was the second time.
That's twice now. Yeah.
That I put Chris up there when I should have put Chelsea there. Okay, there we go. All right.
It happens. It's okay.
Back to Solemn Oath, please. Let's get this back on track. Chelsea, please get us back on track.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm super excited Solemn Oath is coming here. I like that they're taking over the former 1840 space. I think that's a great comeback story for that area. I worked in Bayview when 1840 was coming up, so having another great brewery coming in is fantastic. Joel touched on this during the brewery report, but they're doing a tap takeover event with Supermoon this Thursday, which I'm also planning on joining. Milwaukee's big on holiday parties, so I'm planning on heading out there and trying a couple beers and saying hi. So hopefully people can stop in and say hi as well.
You will have to say hi to the Solemn Oath folks on my behalf. I'm going to the Bucks game. Yeah, was not one I was planning on, but that's a long story.
Chris, comments on Solemn Oath in Milwaukee?
Yeah, one of the cool stories in this story is that this is a homecoming of sorts for its founder, John Barley, which is a top tier.
That's a brewer name.
Yep, that's a top tier beer name. He grew up in Mequon and has been, as soon as I met him, he was talking about opening something in Wisconsin, and obviously it's kind of a somber the story of this property it's got a lot of I guess baggage now. I mean, with 1840's closure and not just that, but the way it happened with co-founder Stephanie's illness and ultimately death that happened this year too. That's really it was a tough it's a tough thing to step into, and I think they're going to do, at least it sounds like they're going to do a really good job of carrying that torch and really trying to be a great community space, which I think is something that 1840 did really well too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, some continuity on Ward Street there in Bayview.
Excellent. And we're going to get two quick hitter things here, and then we're going to get to our next subject. But the two, I want to love Lakefront, but I don't want to talk about them here. I would like to talk about the NFL draft collaboration. If y'all remember that big push for the breweries up there, whether it was Badger State, Hinterland, all were going through some things. And we even had breweries traveling from like Milwaukee, like Torzala, and to go up there and push their beer and have more beer up there. So that was a really big story. We did some interviews on that. And then the market contraction, y'all, is just an interesting story. It's, an overall thing. The Brewers Association noted that craft beer volume was down generally, but Wisconsin was not immune. But we were, I talked to the chief economist for the Brewers Association, and he said we were down, but not as much as broader. So I know that Chelsea and Chris both want to jump into either one. Chelsea, you want to talk about the draft, the contraction, or both?
I can talk about the contraction. Drafts, the only thing I knew is that it was big foot event, and that's all I know about it. I'm a Bears fan, but not a huge into the NFL. So I'm going to take market contraction if that's okay.
Are you going to drink the Bears Still Suck beer though while we're here?
If I had it, I don't think we have it in cans. I think it's just in draft. So I guess I'll have to go to K4 and drink it there.
you said you were going to go out of your way to have a beer that says your team sucks. I'm just
if it's a good beer, I mean, I've been a fan since 2016. I know the Bears suck.
Yeah, but they don't. But hold on,
they're
they don't
doing
suck
great
this year.
But
they don't suck this year. Okay, forget
You're my
it.
favorite
Anyway.
Bears fan, actually. That's all it took.
Chelsea,
acknowledging the
apparently we need to get back on point because I don't know what the hell's going on.
I will say, in my experience in the market and selling beer and being all around the state, it's been tough. A lot of people, a lot of bars and liquor stores are hurting. They're not moving through beer as fast as they were hoping to. A lot of people are staying home. They're going with the tried and true. They don't really want to try the new craft beer, the new whatever is out on the shelves. And it's been difficult. I've seen it firsthand. Especially with breweries closing and restaurants. There's plenty of restaurants in Milwaukee for sure that are putting out PSAs saying that, hey, it's super slow. We really need the community to help us. Buy a gift card. Come in, have appetizers. Like at this point, a lot of people are just looking for a little bit of help. And I think the easiest thing is going in and grabbing a beer someplace. That helps move the line more than anyone could think of. So
yeah, I feel like it's something that we say all the time this time of year on Badger Beer Report / Badger Beer Hour back in the day is this especially after after the holidays are over and January hits and it's cold and it's shitty and everybody's out of money and out of liver space and all that, like it's a tough time, and the best way to support your just be a conscious consumer. Think about how you think of your spending as support, and prioritize the businesses that you want to see endure, because it might be closer than you think. We we know all the all the bad news last year came in December and January, because that's how lenders think is, well, if it didn't turn around in November and December, it's not going to turn around in January, February, which are the two slowest months for almost every brewery and restaurant in for sales. So who knows what January is going to bring, but hopefully it's not as bad as last year. And I think you make a good point, Chelsea, that like a lot of times we think about contraction and market contraction as closures, and we have had a lot of those this year. And I'm going to spin that around a little bit in a minute, but it's not just that. It's slowing sales. It's shrinking. I keep noticing the cold section at Ray's, my local bottle shop here in Tosa. Those THC beverages are climbing in the direction toward all the cold beer. And there's an entire new shelf of them that wasn't even, I don't even know what it was before, but it wasn't beer, but it was something else. We'll see how that goes in the next year or two, because that's a big story that's going to be playing out. That's going to affect breweries too, but
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there that's not just the closings. But I will say it's been interesting to see a lot of these breweries that close, or the locations that close, come back this year. Greg and Joel talked about it, but there have been, like, more than not of the closures in Milwaukee, at least in the Milwaukee area, have had places come in, new businesses or rebooted businesses with the same name come in behind them, and that to me is encouraging. I feel like if I talk to Simon from Venture, or some of the brewery folks that I know well, they would they would be like, boy, like it's tough out there.
Yeah, it is.
But so and I don't know. I hope that these new businesses coming in know how hard it's going to be and have a good plan to beat that. But I mean, we had City Lights that has become Lombardi, and we know there's some kind of rocky implementation going on there, but things are, I mean, that there's a brewing company that owns that place now, or is in that place now. We have Mobcraft, we have St. Francis, we have what am I missing, Greg?
Bull Falls,
Bull Falls, yeah, all over the state that is happening. So
St. Francis.
St. Francis, and
said that.
we've got and
Okay.
there's new openings coming too. There's some
Mhm.
pretty big ones, like Clockwork is coming, and Ope's new project. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening. We've got
Acronym.
acronym up in Fox Point. We've got the one out in Cottage Grove near Madison. So
Solemn Oath.
people, Solemn Oath coming into 1840, we just talked about. There's a lot of, there's still people that are buying into this industry. So I'm hopeful that they are seeing things that that some of the folks in it are not, and that some of the folks who are in it and not seeing things can see some of the things that they're seeing and get excited, and hopefully get these consumers fired up about beer again. Yeah.
Well, we're fired up about Dachsbier, aren't we, Chris?
I am very fired up about Dachsbier, and I don't really know exactly what's going to happen. So I was like, "Are you sure we want to talk about this yet?" But listen, man, that
why
was
not?
that was like one of the best beers I had last year. That probably should have been on my best pours list, because like I know it's our
So
beer and it had our name on it, and we like put the grain in the
it was
thing and
definitely one of the
stirred it and
best
stuff.
beers. Mhm.
But it was legit awesome, and I really hope that, I mean, Matt was the head brewer on this from Gathering Place,
Well,
and of course he
hold on,
has.
Chris.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, just hold on a sec. It's cool.
you know more
I just
information
want to.
than I am just talking about
Well,
Dachsbier, so
just hold.
cut me off.
No. Just hold on. Just it's cool. I just want to give a little stage direction. Chelsea, unfortunately, was not with us when we made Dash Beer last year, but she will be this year. So Chelsea is going to take a little break and probably refresh herself and chill out while we talk about Dachsbier, and she'll be back.
Yep.
So Chelsea will, and then we're gonna bring on another
Oh.
guy.
Oh,
Who
that's.
was
I knew there was a
involved
reason I
with
saw your little
with
face for
Yeah.
with
a hot second there. Hi, Joel. It's
oh
been a bit. How are you?
his little
Good. I'm doing
face.
great, Chris.
Joel's got a big face. What are you talking about? Little face.
He meant like that I was
little.
down lower.
No.
Oh, so
I
he's
meant, I
talking
kind of
down
meant
to
that he
you.
was there and then he left. For a
Oh,
little bit.
so he was. All right, let's get this back on track, Chris. Why are we always off the rails with you? You show up here like once a year and you fucking
Like
take
once
down
a
the whole.
year, get out of here. Yeah.
Anyway, well, look, this is where we show up once a year. Is to brew a beer at Gathering Place, Chris.
There we go.
Back to what you were saying, buddy.
I'm glad I'm glad I'm not wearing that shirt today. I'm wearing the other one though. Yeah. So I don't know. The beer slapped, like straight up. It was really really good, and I think I mean, you know, there's some continuity questions that I have with. I mean, but you remember, like
Well,
he wrote all that stuff down.
well,
These recipes are very detailed and very replicable. There's Matt, who's
Chris, well, while we're here, why are there? You said there might be details that this is the reason, right?
well. I'd like to be able to say how much it's going to be when it's going to all that stuff. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see.
Well, I'm talking about because this story what we're showing here is obviously going to play big into
Yeah, right.
what Dachsbier is going to be next year. Is what I was setting you up for.
Yeah. So Matt really kind of he took the direction that we gave him on this beer and knocked it out of the park. We wanted a Vienna lager. We wanted it to be drinkable but pretty robust and kind of flavorful. And he came back with a recipe that we were like, okay, yeah, I don't know what that means. It's all these, it's like ingredients and numbers and stuff, and we're not brewers, we don't know what that is. But we trusted him, and it turned out great. It was I remember it being like really smooth drinker, but like kind of on the nutty. Like the malt was a little on the nutty side. Nice little hop kiss. Of course it's a lager, so you're gonna say it's got a little kiss of hops, but it did have a hop character there on the finish. That was this is not a Sam Adams. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Sam Adams, but like it was a I felt like it was a nice robust take on a Vienna lager.
So Chris, while we're here airing out our insecurities about what Dachsbier is going to be like next year, I would like to say that the thing that I'm concerned about the most is that, remember, Matt used some special malt for us because he wanted to make it different. Now, I don't know if this new brewer is going to want to work with this new malt, has it at his palate, all those kind of different things. So, like, Dachsbier was so unique in that aspect. That's where I'm concerned, if that makes sense.
And it was I think I have it in my notes somewhere. I have in the notes somewhere that I took and never did anything with, but I mean, it was a small amount of a specialty malt from Germany that or I think or Austria. I'm not sure what it was. It was.
Or Joel, do you remember? Joel, jump in here whenever you want.
I was thinking Austria, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all in the recipe, and you can get the malt again. So
we just we'll bully him into doing it. That's what I said.
Gathering Place. I mean, like this is the big thing, is like the beer that they make is up to them. So, but boy, I hope it's the same thing.
Yeah. Joel, do you have any? You heard Chris's?
Yeah, no, I'm in full agreement on all of that. I mean, I think we all loved it. Like I said, I felt like I do, now that he's saying, the nuttiest, like it was just, I do feel like the biscuity, very malty characteristic of it was just, it was really, really good. And I think especially for like that kind of, it was a little bit on the cooler side of the weather. Like it was like the perfect beer for that perfect day, is how it felt to me. And I went and I had it a couple more times. at Gathering Place in Tosa when they had it. And I know that, I mean, Greg, I know we were all pretty excited that it was also a Great Taste. That was a pretty cool thing to be able to say that we had. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping, I know that I'll be talking at some point here down the road with them and figuring out timeline and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm in full agreement. I hope that we're able to essentially clone it, replicate it just on maybe a little bit bigger scale. And hopefully we get fewer Grinches on Untapped, though. That was, you know, I know that we've talked about that. But Untapped is not kind to Vienna lagers.
No hazy, no pastry, no pear.
Yeah,
that's the.
I love that I'm
Untapped.
Yeah, and I'm love that I'm ready here for you because we talked about this on my Friday stream. Chris, you have thoughts on this?
On what? On which?
Do you have thoughts on this? What you're looking
on
at?
What?
That's the Untapped rating for a Dachsbier. You see it?
No.
It's a 3.64.
I mean, listen, like that's not. It's not the real world. I don't know.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
If it's not a hazy IPA, or especially a hazy imperial IPA, or
a barrel aged,
whatever, or pucker bomb sour, it just doesn't. Stuff just doesn't stand out. It's. I don't think you get a real reading of.
Nope.
Yeah.
I write in my book that I don't like Untapped. So, you know, it's a useful tool at times, but that people need to take the ratings with a grain of salt, because you show me, I mean, the percentage of amazing amber ales or brown ales or Vienna lagers that have a high score are very few and far between. So I'm not too concerned, especially considering a lot of those ratings were from people that were, you know, trying it at a beer festival. I would guess almost all of them were. There might be a couple in there from when it was at the Tosa Tap Room, but you know, all these people are getting even less than a flight pour of this beer, and they're drinking it among dozens of other beers. So especially, you know,
if you're checking it in at the Great Taste, I mean, you know, I was just looking back at my the story that I wrote this year about the Great Taste, and I noted that I had well, it was a beer from Black Stack called Take Your Time, and it was listed on the. Here's what I wrote: I didn't really like this beer listed on the menu board as a salted pretzel BA stout, but it's notable in that it was the thickest beer I've ever seen. There was so much residual sugar in there that it was like sludge. 2 rinses didn't really clear the film from the glass. So like, and there's a photo of it. Like, do you remember? Did you guys have this beer?
I did not have that beer.
It was like, it looks like molasses. It looks like molasses in the glass, and this is like the side of it, you know, not like in the bottom. The bottom is
almost like one of those like pulpy sours kind of thing. Only it's like a thicker, like a
viscous.
Yeah,
but that stuff's like glorious.
That's like the pulpy. That's like, more like pulpy.
This is like you
syrupy.
You know, it's like legs on a really rich wine or something. Like how it just stays there,
swirling it around.
It's black, and it's like looks like it literally looks like if you took like brown sugar and then like caramelized it against like on a sheet of glass. That's what this thing looks like. So I don't know. I mean, like you're telling me you're gonna have that and be like 5 stars, and then you're gonna have a Dachsbier and be like 3 stars. I don't know. Did taste anything kind of thing. Like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, they're just and you're just throwing it.
Like, ice wine. Ice barley or ice pop, whatever. Like, I'm thinking about the Cuna and stuff. There's so much bonkers stuff there. You know, like, I'm glad it was there too, but a lot of the people who are drinking beer at the Great Taste are doing stunt beers, and this was the complete opposite of that. It was a really executed, it's a little bit of a twist on a classic style. So,
well, I mean, and people at those events, they're also just chasing Untapped, like in terms of checking into as many beers as they can and not really paying too much of a mind to what ratings are. And it's different when you have like a beer that gets thousands and thousands of ratings. It's different when it's like a one-off thing and you don't get that many reviews. But yeah, I mean, it's I have my calls with Untapped. Well, it's just what it is. What it is. And I know
two
breweries
bottle
don't,
caps for
don't
Untappd.
like it either. Breweries don't like Untappd either.
I mean, I'll say I do like it. It is. You made one good point there. I mean, you made many good points, but one thing that you said that I totally agree with is it is a good reference tool.
Yes.
Like if you need to know what a beer is called, what it is,
or your own notebook.
It is the best. It is the best library, like Wikipedia of it's the paper of record for beers and breweries. So that's good for that.
All right, Joel, any last comments or concerns or issues about Dachsbier that we should know about?
Just that we're excited, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing. Obviously, like I said, we hope that the beer remains the same, but I'm looking forward to seeing what this rendition brings to us on a full scale in terms of what we're able to achieve with it. So obviously, like I said to all the folks listening, we will be sure you will be sick of hearing about Dachsbier by the time it actually gets released, I'm sure, because we will be talking about it quite a bit in the lead up, I'm sure.
And for those who don't know,
one and only Lager and Friends.
Yes.
Sure. Yep. And for those who don't know, Dachsbier means badger beer in German.
Yep.
So, a widely spoken language across Central Europe, including in Vienna.
And before you ask, there are badgers in Germany.
We did look that up.
Mm-hmm. Joel, you want to stick around and talk about holiday winter beers? Or I'm sorry, Chris, what did you say?
I was just saying we figured there was because Dachshund, like the dog, long little wiener dogs. German Dachs. There you go. Same deal. Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Well,
a beer.
we're bringing back our co-host because Chris is taking us off the rails again. Joel, would you like to stick around and Joel, you out of here, buddy?
No, I was just shaking my head at Chris.
Oh, Chelsea, you wanted to talk about holiday beers and winter ales. So what's going on with those, and what are your thoughts as our in-house certified cicerone?
So, two reasons. One, 'tis the season. I know after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, everybody was doing their Black Friday deals of the barrel-aged stouts, the barley wines, all the heavy hitters. And that's perfect for winter ales. Winter ales and holiday beers are kind of a long, vague name for beers that are spiced, that are malty, dark, sometimes spiced, and usually have a higher ABV, so they have that warming effect because it gets cold here. Some of the big ones that I saw, Central Waters. One of the ones they released for their Black Friday was an ice wine barrel English barley wine, which looked interesting. I wanted to try it, but I don't get out as much as I should. Lakefront had their 5 variants of their barrel-aged stuff. The one that I was excited about was Lion's Tail. They had a horchata golden milk stout, and I love horchata. They still have it at the tap room, so I'm hoping I can get up there pretty soon to grab myself some of that.
That's a good one. I just want
to try it. It sounds so great. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up as well was I was at Dexter's in Madison. He has Santa Claus from Schloss Eggenberg. It is a beer that is brewed once a year on St. Nick's Day, and then it is aged for 10 months. So it's a Doppelbock, and it comes out to about 14% after it comes out of aging. And it is like the dessert beer. If I could think of like an ice wine, but beer wise, that was what I could say. It was sweet, but not cloying sweet. Almost had like a brandy like quality to it. I was so excited that I was able to get a little taste of that this week. And when I was talking to the owner, he was just surprised by like how much people were overlooking that and picking out whatever else was on tap they have, something from Youngblood or Lion's Tail or whatever that, they have 24 taps of beer. He's like, this is something you can't get around here. And I even checked, I was looking at Total Wine, like maybe I can get some of that for myself. It said there is nothing available in 200 miles. So I was like, all right, well,
That's a
I'm
big
probably gonna
circle.
go. Yeah, right. So I'm probably gonna go back this weekend and see if I can get myself a glass of that, because that was already delicious and it did not drink like a 14% beer. But wondering what you guys think. What are your favorite winter beers? What do you go to?
I don't lean into the spiced, like ale stuff a whole lot. But one that I do usually get every year is Great Lakes Christmas Ale, which is obviously a classic around these parts. I don't even know, I think they list all the ingredients on the label, and it's a lot. There's like honey and
It is, yeah.
like nutmeg and I don't know, maybe not nutmeg. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff going on there, and it sounds like it's gonna. I mean, every year I'm like, I'm gonna like, I kind of think about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But it's really good. It's well balanced. It's not too anything. It's I don't know. I think it's a really nice, obviously Midwestern brewed, which means something to me, and it's a classic.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like, this is the one season that I don't necessarily like lean too heavily into seasonal stuff, I would say. I will say in terms of like, because I typically I drink lagers year round. I mean, I don't necessarily drink a whole lot of high ABV things, which I know is kind of like this time of year. It's like, oh, this is when you crack open, your 12-14% beers. But I did recently actually have a couple different triples that I loved. One from Supermoon that I'm probably going to have again next time I'm down there. Sensitive King, the triple there,
Belgian,
and then
Belgian triples you're talking about here.
Yeah, the Belgian triple, and then also the Vault 202 had one when I visited. That was new. That was also very, very good. But yeah, because I don't do a whole lot of barrel stuff. I will say I'm planning on we're going down to Amorphic this weekend with a buddy, and they have something on their list on their tap list that I'm hoping is still there, because it seems like a interesting, potentially it's because it's a dark beer, but it's a dark Czech lager that was then aged for a year in blackberry wine barrels that used to be bourbon barrels. So I don't know what's all going on with that, but it's 9%, and it sounds like it has quite the profile on it. But yeah, I like I said, the winter ales, I did, occasionally drink them a little bit before, but it's just not something that I will drink it if it's there. Like, it's not something that I'm like adverse to. It's just not something that I usually am picking over other styles, I would say.
Mm-hmm. There's an important distinction too here, is that, like, are we talking about actual actual like spiced, I think the holiday ale
winter
has
warmer
the spice, like some kind of like thing with that, because New Glarus had I think they just released their Scotch ale, and I wonder if it's the same beer as what used to be called Winter Warmer, but it was just a hearty Scotch ale. And Bell's has their winter ale, which always has a great label, a little Christmas tree out in the woods and the snow and stuff. And that used to be a Scottish ale. Now it's a Scotch ale, like a full, a more robust, but it's not spiced or anything. So there's a distinction between like the packaging and the label and the marketing and stuff, and the name
100%.
versus the like the kind of like, to me it's like Christmas ale from Great Lakes is like a holiday,
the spices, and
that's got all the stuff. But Chelsea, to your point, like the sandwich clause, okay, Santa Claus, is that
Santa Claus, yeah.
Santa Claus? Like that's a special. It's like there's stuff done to it that's makes it unusual for a Doppelbock, but it's not actually spiced or anything, is it?
It's not spiced.
Yeah.
It's typically called a holiday beer because they only brew it on St. Nick's Day, which is
Right.
a huge thing for Austria. But like I said, I kind of just wanted to bring this up because I had a glass of that and I really want more of it, and it was so good.
Yeah.
All right. I have to second Chris on the Christmas ale. That's
It is
just
a good one.
classic. And I'm gonna use this time to punch your local brewery. They're doing something. Whether it's a big beer, whether it's a stout, whether it's a Scotch ale, there's something there that they're doing for this season, y'all. And so check that out for sure.
I'll say I really like the Scotch ale, like as a kind of like, a clean Scotch ale as a good winter like holiday beer. Like it just feels right for the you think about the meals and the it just pairs well with a lot of that stuff, cookies, and
I think it's one of those things that's it's super underrated, and I feel like more people should be getting into it, especially like you said, especially these days where it's such a robust flavor for something that's not necessarily super heavy.
Yeah.
And it's a year-round style, like Scotch ale, we see them year-round. So like if y'all put them out there, I think what Chris and Chelsea are saying, if y'all put them out there in the winter, it's fine because it'll work really good. And it could just be like, it doesn't have to be like spiced or anything like y'all are saying. It could just be that straight style, just work straight during that season. Kind of like Pilsners in spring, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
Pilsners in summer.
One I would say that I remember seeing, I just went and looked to make sure on the date, that Lakefront's most recent My Turn series was a stout. It's a smoked rye oyster stout. But that one just got released on the 5th. So I'm guessing you'll be able to see that one around here, the Milwaukee area. I mean, the My Turn series, I absolutely love the My Turn series.
And that one's out now.
Yeah. So because it came out on the 5th, so that's one that I think they probably timed up well with the time of year. Smoked rye oyster stout wouldn't be the best one to release in January or in July. I think December is a really good time for that one. It sounds really delicious. I would definitely be down to hopefully My Turn Aiden. So the My Turn series Aiden is what it was. It was just released again on the 5th. So keep your eyes peeled for that one if you're on Milwaukee.
Joel, grab me one, please.
Yeah.
Have you guys had oyster stouts?
I'm not even joking, actually.
Yeah, I've had a handful of them.
I have not. I'm kind of interested.
It's interesting.
I need to get Joel to do my lakefront shopping. We're going to be talking, Joel.
They've got the barley wine. The barley wine's coming out this weekend too.
Ooh,
man. Chelsea sees good things for next year, or has hopes for things.
I have hopes. Okay. I don't.
Okay. I didn't know if you're a visionary. Listen, you're new to the crew, so I didn't know if you were, some kind of visionary or someone who saw things in the future. I don't know.
I was gonna say I know I have insider knowledge, but no, I just have hopes. This kind of goes back to the whole, there's been closings, there's been businesses in trouble. But I feel like one thing that Wisconsin, especially Madison and Milwaukee, are great at are rallying around their community and around their favorite businesses. And I feel like a lot of breweries have been evolving of joining the community and helping them out. So I'm hopeful in next year that we'll have some better news on rates of sale, hopefully more breweries opening than closing, and just more good beer in the market. That's my hope. Fingers crossed.
Joe, before we get to whether you're hopeful or not, I know I'm calling you out on a public live stream, but do you remember we're pretty much equal as far as closings and openings goes in this year, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much equal. I think at one point we maybe had one more opening, but I think the fact that we've had 3 closings here at the end may have just barely tipped the scales. I'd have to go back and count for sure, but I think it was pretty even, especially once you factor in that some of the closures were places like 1840 Good City Bloomer that had multiple locations closing. So you were losing kind of more locations, but it was just one brewery in itself, like one brand. Whereas with the openings, we really, like I said, when we were during the Badger Brewery Report, I think only like 3 of the openings were like secondary spaces. Pretty much all of the openings were either, you know, brand new breweries, or they were, as you guys talked about earlier, the resurrections here in the Milwaukee area. So
are you hopeful, Joe?
overall, yeah, I mean, especially because we do have so many breweries that we know are like on that cusp of going to be opening up in early 26. And it seems like I'm sure we're going to have even more now. I mean, that just seems how it's going to go, is that, you know, we're going to think that we're going to slow down and we're going to start getting more announcements, but it seems like we have a nice number of projects in terms of how they're going to be spread out for progress along the timeline. We have a handful here early. I think we have some that are going to be more in line for like the summer into the fall. We even have an announcement that's already, you know, we talked about Quiet World, like that's already saying 27. So like we have all these projects, and it seems like we also have a lot of projects that they're not afraid to take the time to do the things right. You know, we've seen that with several of the ones that have opened this year. Boulder, almost to a fault, you know, Boulder is still doing that. And, you know, when we talked to, you know, Quiet World, it seemed like that was, you know, they were very much on the, you know, steady timeline of wanting to make sure everything was done properly, which is a good thing. You know, obviously, I think overall these businesses that we've seen open up this year, I know we talked about the quality in the beer, but I think just the quality in the people and like their, you know, seemingly their business acumen with some of their decisions seem to be good. You know, bringing in the right people, you know, places like Tailwinds, bringing in the brewer with a lot of experience. You know, I think that was a really smart move by Rick. And yeah, so I mean, we are still going to see closures. I think people say, "Oh, you know, the bubbles burst," and it's a bit. It's not so much that. It's not so much that I think the comparison is that it's not that everything's going to bottom out and we're all of a sudden going to lose half of our breweries. It's more so that there is going to be more of a stagnation in terms of there's going to be opening and closing similar to last year, and I think the year, but even 24, I think was pretty similar, where the numbers of openings and closings are going to be pretty close. You're mostly going to lose breweries that, you know, for one reason or other, were not very good at business, didn't make good beer. You will also lose some that were good at both things, and it's just, you know, unfortunate timing. But I think you are just going to see a nice steady level of overall growth, or not even growth, but just, you know, leveling out, where you're going to see new entrants. We're going to lose some. It's just not going to be, I mean, you can't really repeat that, you know, what would it be like 2010 to 2019 span where, you know, breweries were just popping up on every corner. So yeah, but overall I'm optimistic compared to, I think, what most people would have a view on it. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the beginning parts of 24, because last year at the end of 24, we were kind of, you know, not thinking super highly, and then 25 ended up being a pretty banner year for the new breweries.
Yeah, and before we get to Chris, if we're going to shout out Lombardi for replacing, what was that?
City Lights.
Yeah, we need to shout out Last Ditch for replacing our noggin.
Yeah, I said that in the I guess that was Brewery Report though. That wasn't this. So.
No, and that's cool. And I don't say that enough, and I actually don't think of them in that way. Because I kind of make that break in my head. I don't think of Lombardi, coming after City Lights, but that's what happened, literally.
Yeah.
And I don't think about that same way with Last Ditch. So I just wanted to say that for myself, actually. And Chris can speak for himself about what he thinks about hopes for Wisconsin breweries and the beer scene.
I mean, it's a hope. I think that's the right way to frame it. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of evidence that it's that we can see, you know, that it's really hard. I think a lot about these, you know, was it Chelsea? Did you mention all the kind of restaurant like the dire restaurant stuff that's happening in Milwaukee? Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of businesses that are kind of on the brink, and or at least it seems like they are. and that's tough. That's you know, that the possibility of losing some of these businesses is very real, and we've already lost a bunch. You know, there's another one today that the restaurant Briso Del Mar, which is only 2 years old, closed. So um, obviously those are restaurants versus breweries, but we've seen plenty of breweries close, and I don't know. My hope is that you know, the breweries that I hope that we can just kind of keep going where we are and not lose more. I think that's the thing that that I think the businesses are worried about, is that it's gonna shrink. You know, the consumer base or the dollars or whatever is gonna shrink again. You know, costs are like the general economic outlook is not great. And while big beer like Modelo or, you know, Miller Lite or whatever does tend to be kind of indexed opposite of economic hard times, craft beer is not. It's a little luxury. And if people trade back from you know, New Glarus Pilsner to High Life or something, that could be, I mean, maybe that's a bad example because it seems like New Glarus is just a little engine that could, but you know, it's pretty dicey. So my hope for this year is that everybody can kind of just hold on to what they've got and grow a little bit, and you know, get a little bit of the magic back. It's I sense that there's kind of some stagnation out there, and that there's kind of not a lot new going on. I think we'll be talking about this a little bit more in the near future, Greg. But yeah, I think there's some. I do think there is. It's reasonable. There are things that we can see that should give us hope.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm just gonna echo what everything Joel said, because him and I are kind of synonymous when it comes to thinking about breweries, and since we work kind of tight about together on the brewery report, we kind of come to the same conclusion. So, um, but Chelsea was, I would love Chelsea to tell us, segueing out of this, y'all, and to tell us what we can expect from Chelsea via the Badger Beer Report in
Oh yeah.
2026.
So I'll be taking over the Big Six. Sure, we'll see more of these lovely faces during it. But I do have some other
Not
contacts.
Chris, not that one.
I do have contacts within the industry, so I can get some pretty interesting conversations going. Also starting my own show, Chats with Chels. I don't know. The title's still working, but
I
getting
like it.
It's not bad.
just getting perspectives, different perspectives of people in the industry, not necessarily just the brewers, but distributors, sales reps, the buyers at restaurants, at bars. I worked in bars and restaurants for 20 years, so I have plenty of my own perspective on that as well. So it's just something, just instead of like an interview, more just a conversation. So I'm looking forward to getting that going next year.
We are too. That sounds great.
Joel, what can we expect from you out of the Badger Beer Report in 26?
I mean, we already kind of teased it a little bit in the brewery report, and that's that we're kind of taking the next step in terms of expanding our reach with different forms of media, looking at the Patreon, and doing. I've been starting to lay the groundwork for a weekly newsletter. I think you're going to see us continue to do the brewery report and expanding on that, and doing a lot more different interviews, and possibly being able to have boots on the ground in different places a little more than we did even this year with different things. So I think the big thing is taking that next step and providing even more information and insights into the Wisconsin craft brewery sector than what we did in 25 is kind of the hope for me, at least.
Chris, do you have any goals as far as 2006,
Well,
26, and Badger Beer
I'm
Report.
excited to be able to exercise my best skill in this realm, and that's editing Joel. As like a words editor, that's cool.
Wow.
No, I'm looking forward to that, and I think you know, the um uh all of the this is something that I've really had to get used to, is talking about beer. Well, not talking about beer, but trying to be a little bit more polished, and you know,
We
not
ain't
say
gonna get there.
quite as much as I as I normally do. Um, but also the evolution of what this has been a really fun kind of journey for me, because I was not really like this is basically television kind of, and uh
Mhm.
that was not something that I had any proclivity or interest or talent in, and I think we've gotten to the point where it can kind of hold. I don't know. We're fine, I guess. But
Mhm.
you know, there's a lot of different forms and mediums have different strengths, and the written word still is a really powerful. I think it's a really powerful medium for detail and um, for precision, and that is Joel's really good at that stuff. So I think he's going to be a really good beer writer. And of course, he freaking wrote a book too. Like, let's not lose sight of that. He's already knows what he's doing. But you know,
And
I'm just kind of
Chris helped lead the. Like I said, he was the best Q&A leader that I could have ever dreamed for at Lakefront. We had such a good time at Lakefront for that.
it was a really good time. Thanks for saying that. But it
Is
was.
there a video out of that? There's a video. We put it out, right? Or no?
I don't know if we
Did I
put it
take
out or
video
not.
of it?
Can we,
We did
Joel?
take video, right?
I thought we tried to. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll have to go and look.
I think we
No,
set up a
there's a
little.
video. I know there's
Yeah,
a video. Can we put it out?
Okay.
yeah, I'm sure we can.
My
Oh
bad.
God,
I just
I will
my
not be
bad.
watching that. I can tell you that much. But
I don't think it's a great
you know,
camera. I don't know if it's a great angle for either of us, Chris.
yeah, it's like all chin.
I'll
Yeah.
send it to y'all before we do it.
Anyway, but no, I'm excited to see, you know, Badger Beer Report go a little bit more into my kind of native skill set, and so yeah, hopefully I'll be contributing a little bit more behind the scenes, and honestly, I hope I'm contributing a little bit more up in here too, to be honest. So
I could speak for the overall. We will be at more events. We
Hmm?
will present more beer to you,
Yep.
and we will have some celebration of this project. And I will keep all that all vague, but I have to vague book you in order for y'all to keep y'all
masterfully done.
around. Y'all have to come back, so I have to like tease and throw things out. But we have a bunch of really
We
wonderful
got big
things.
stuff coming.
Yeah, we do. And I know people just say that, but no, we're not. We're not BSing. So
It's
I'm
very
just
cool.
excited.
Greg has been working his ass off for all year on this. It's been,
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, Joel, you have too. Not to take anything away from you, but
Oh yeah,
I mean, but Greg, you know, like, there have been so many times where I've been like, what is he doing? And then this thing happens, and it's like, holy shit, this is great. So yeah,
I'll take my flowers. Miley told me to. So
that's right.
on that note, y'all, I think we're gonna get out of here. Does anybody have any final words? Chelsea?
Shop local. Make sure you get your beer from your favorite craft breweries. Not only helping your community, but you're helping people buy presents for their family.
Yeah, you know, speaking of that, I'm gonna make my final word a little plug for a something. Hold on, where is it? Oh, here it is. Nope, dang it. All right. This is great. This is great. Great. Like I said, this is TV. So what I wanted to say was there's a new program that Visit Milwaukee just launched that is pretty awesome for the next like 10 days. And so participating businesses that are Visit Milwaukee members or whatever it is, like associates or something, they're if you buy $25 or more of gift cards, you get a free $25 gift card. So you're basically like if you buy a $25 card, you're doubling your money. And there's a bunch of breweries in it. So I'm gonna mention these brewery adjacent best place at the historic Pabst. The Explorium at Southridge and the Explorium at third in the Third Ward. Mobcraft is one of them. Pilot Project is one of them. Sprecher is one of them, and Third Space of note. They're actually having this event on Saturday that's like a like oops, I forgot to go Christmas shopping or something. They have 25%. This is not a plug. Well, it's kind of a plug, but
it is now.
I saw this and I'm like, this is a great event. They have 25% off to-go beer, and all their merch is 25% off. And then you can buy a $25 gift card and get a free $25 gift card. Like,
you're basically robbing them.
It's a freaking no-brainer. And then the last brewery that's participating in this program is there's two more. Torzala, friend of Greg, and Wizard Works,
all of us.
which is
Wizard Works.
Wizard Works, yeah, bonkers brewery in the Third Ward in Milwaukee. Well, it's not that bonkers. I mean, it's but interesting concept. The wizard themed breweries are wild in Milwaukee. So there's a bunch of breweries there that are.
There's more than one. That's what's wild about it.
No, they are. Right.
But yes, this is come to Milwaukee, the wizard, the fantasy brewery themed capital of the world. But I mean, I think that's just an awesome thing. It runs through Christmas Eve, so for any places that are open on Christmas Eve, at least you can go there, and again, $25 for free from Visit Milwaukee. So
wow, and that's a great gift. That's a great gift in itself. That $25.
You buy one and you got two people crossed off instead of just.
It's more like a one for you, one for me.
You could. Yep, there you go. And of course, we encourage everybody to spend more than 25 because,
they get more back.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, it doesn't stack. Okay.
20. Yeah.
So one for you, one for me. Joel, it's your turn. One plug for you, or you have any final words?
No, I was just gonna say, I always end our other show, drink local everywhere, whether it's where you're living or where you're visiting, and then make sure for following, if you want to stay up to date with us, make sure to search Badger Beer Report on Facebook, on Instagram, on Spotify, on YouTube. If you just go to our website, you have all the links there, badgerbeerreport.com. We're going to be looking at doing some more with the website stuff too. But yeah, make sure you tune in. As I said, I know I talked about this Badger Brewery Report. Greg and I will be diving into a lot more detail with a lot of these big new changes and additions to stuff next month in January. We'll share more details about that show here in the near future. So make sure you're following all those social media plugs and accounts so that you don't miss out on anything.
And lastly, from Badger Beer Report, we want to wish all of y'all a happy holidays, whatever you do, whatever you celebrate. We want to wish you a happy new year. If you celebrate that BS, and I don't, but some people do, like
you don't take
day.
the excuse to celebrate stuff.
No, so I love how you just like made it stuff. Like I'm talking about one day, dude. Okay,
yeah, I don't care what it is. If
Greg, does Greg just hate all holidays? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh my god!
I mean,
so I hate
what you said is applicable to like any holiday, pretty much. I'd say.
I hate that one because it looms over my birthday, which is the day after. So
that's fair.
January 1st, baby.
Yeah, I'm January 2nd, baby.
Second, okay. Let's do this.
I missed it by 13 minutes, y'all. So it was. My mom's a champ. She held out for me.
My wife just had her birthday, and I know like the December birthdays leading up to Christmas time are a big bummer because she said growing up, she would get people that would just give her like, oh, it's a birthday and Christmas present, and like they'd be out doing Christmas stuff for her birthday, and so I totally do get that that when your birthday is right next to a big holiday like that, and also I'm not even old, and I don't want to stay up that late for New Year's Eve. I ain't doing that. I get waken up early by kiddos. I do not have time for that. Yeah.
Same. It's bedtime at 11 and
yeah.
I am thankful for January 2nd. I am thankful for January 2nd. It's just like, man, can y'all
that can be we can celebrate on the 2nd instead of the 1st then.
That's the day when you finally feel normal. Your diet normalizes, everything's
instead of like, the different
all the cheese spread has worked out of your system.
That can be the start of the Badger Beer Reports calendar year. It's January 2nd.
There you go.
It is all arbitrary, as Greg so sagely points out.
Joel, say something so Chris doesn't get the last word, please.
Okay. Okay, I'll just